Alrighty, good morning everybody. Good morning, and welcome. How's everyone today? I hope you're all doing well. And I hope that you all are in a good mood and ready for a full day of streaming fun here today. And today is actually a pretty important day. Today, by the way, is Thursday, August 5th, 2021. It's a pretty important day because today we are going to determine what games are going to finish up our lineup for Saturday's big, fun Game Pass Marathon event. For those who don't know, due to us hitting our membership goal in the month of July, we're doing a celebratory marathon this coming Saturday. This marathon is going to feature exclusively games from Microsoft Game Pass Ultimate on the Xbox Series X. And so far, due to our experimentation with games, we've determined 3 games that will be played. Excuse me. The first is PUBG, which we'll probably play for about an hour of Battle Royale fun. The second is Halo the Master Chief Collection, where we'll probably do some random multiplayer to try to get me back into Halo to help prepare for Halo Infinite coming out later this year. And the third is The Medium, a game that I played for about an hour. I was incredibly intrigued, and I want to play a full playthrough of it, so we're going to start with another hour or so of gameplay this coming Saturday. But 3 games do not make a marathon, and so today, our goal right here on the stream is to check out some more games via Microsoft Game Pass, see what's good, and see what you guys would like to see this coming Saturday. Alright? It'll be a variety of stuff, likely 3 new games. I already got one good suggestion from the stream chat. They said, why don't you try out this game Wreckfest that you had marked for future download one of the times when you were checking out Game Pass. And I said, you know what, that kind of makes sense. Maybe we will do that. We will jump right in and we'll download that right away and get that available so we can check that out today. Among other things, you know, there's many options under Game Pass that we could check out today. And I'm excited to see what we find, and, you know, what we choose for Saturday, okay? So that is the purpose of today's stream. We are not sticking to one game. We are not looking to make any advancement in any game, and we are not going to play a game we've already played before. The whole point of today's Game Pass variety stream is to check out stuff we've never done before and determine what's good that we want to play again this coming Saturday. Okay? So I hope that sounds good to all of you. Please understand that's what we're doing. Do not demand games I've already played. Do not ask for other stuff. We're doing stuff under Game Pass, first time ever, to see what's good and get more exposure to Game Pass and see what we could play this coming Saturday. Okay? I'm excited for that. I hope this ends up being pretty fun and interesting and different. These Game Pass variety streams have certainly been very different and outside of my normal comfort zone, where usually I'm playing a game for advancement in a playthrough. And this has definitely added to the variety of my streams in the last week. I'm very happy that we've been doing this, okay? So that's today's main gameplay stream. Now, in addition to that, something else is going on, all right? The poll to determine what cuisine I will be trying out on the second ever episode of Feasting with the King is live right now over on DSPGaming, right here. I guess I should say over on. It's right here on the community tab. So if you head to my main channel page, the community tab on that page, the poll is live. The choices of cuisine are as follows. Either Sonic restaurants, which features things like burgers, hot dogs, sides, like tater tots and stuff like that, as well as pretty cool specialty drinks, all right? Or Thai food. For those who don't know, Thai food's pretty diverse, but they offer many different things, including a pad Thai traditional dish, different kinds of noodles, I think rice noodles and things that aren't usually standard, fish dishes and stuff like that. Or Filipino food. Now, I'm not too well educated on Filipino food, but there is a Filipino restaurant around here that's highly rated that has things like their own version of fried chicken and stuff like that, plus soups and things like that. I've seen different things on their menu that interest me. So, those are the 3 kinds of cuisine. All right? Now, right now, FYI, Sonic is in the lead. Now, the poll's only been live for a day, and quite frankly, I didn't really mention it yesterday that much. I forgot. All right? So I urge you, if you're on the stream right now, head over there, check it out, see what's interesting to you, and vote on one of those types of cuisine. All right? I'll be mentioning this throughout the day. I'll be posting up on Twitter later today about it again to try to get more people to vote. Tomorrow is the day when that poll will essentially end, and it'll determine what I'm actually going to try on Saturday. And what we're going to do on Saturday morning when I start the marathon, we're going to actually sit here together, and I'm going to order live, going through the menu with you guys and determining what it is that you guys want to see me try on the show. So it's pretty cool and interactive in that way that we order together, and then later on in the show, I try that whole meal with you. That's what we did with the Indian cuisine last month, and that's what we're going to do this time around. Okay? Pretty neat. So, hopefully that sounds good to you. Please vote if you have not, okay? Later tonight, my late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time will be the conclusion of Mass Effect 3. Yes, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're finishing Mass Effect 3. I'm well aware that Mass Effect has overstayed its welcome, alright? Now listen, I very much enjoyed playing Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition and Mass Effect 3 to some extent, although I do like 1 way more than 3. It's only the second time I've ever played 3. But I fully acknowledge to all of you that this game lasted too long because we played them back to back, and we definitely shouldn't have done that. I'm actually very glad I did not listen to the full feedback that I got that was telling me to play Mass Effect 2 as well. That would have been a nightmare. It's finally completing tonight. What I would say is this: even if you stayed away, come here tonight, come chill with me, have a good time as we send off this game and we see what ending I get. Because as you remember, all the endings of the game suck. So no matter what I get, it's going to suck, and we can all laugh at how bad they are. Okay? So again, that's 6:45 p.m. Pacific time later tonight. Okay? Tomorrow, we return to Fallout New Vegas. I will continue trying to do the follower missions in Fallout New Vegas. Alright? And continue to unwind the plot in that regard. They're pretty challenging, some of them. And some of them are actually tied to direct development in the game's plot itself, which is why I haven't been able to move as forward as fully as I'd like to, maybe. Yesterday, we kind of got embroiled in a few things with Boone and then Arcade Gannon, where we couldn't really advance yet. And then I realized, oh, this is how you do it, but you got to advance the plot. So we're going to work on that on Friday. And the truth is, if what I'm seeing is correct, we're getting close to what I would argue is the finale of Fallout New Vegas. Because after we do the follower missions, really all we have to do is the conclusion of the story or DLCs. Now, what I think I'm going to do, I think we're going to do a few follower missions on Friday. And then the next thing I think we're going to do is the Honest Hearts DLC. Then we're going to swing back to basically getting into the finale of the story of the game, making critical choices. And then before the big finale, we'll do the Lonesome Road DLC. Alright? So we are heading into essentially the end of the game, but the DLCs are definitely going to extend that end. Okay? So, yes, it should be a good time this coming Friday. Alright? Good stuff. Then Friday night, of course, as you guys know, is my late night Street Fighter session where I play classic Street Fighter games once a week. And I'm actually excited for this because this week I have my new chair where I'm going to be able to kind of extend my legs out and put my joystick on my lap firmly for the first time ever. In the many years, over 3 years I've been playing this 30th anniversary collection, I haven't had a setup like this where I can kind of like sit down and put my joystick firmly on my lap and play. And I'm curious if it'll actually help me, you know? Actually having a secure joystick that's not wiggling around and everything because I was sitting on a love seat and then on a freaking crappy discount chair. We'll see how it affects stuff on Friday, okay? I actually just extended out my legs on my nice chair. I'm like, oh man, this is nice. I guess we'll find out. It would be great if my execution goes up. I don't know if it really will, but it'll be very interesting to see regardless on Friday night, okay? Then on Saturday, it is the big marathon. So we're starting at the usual time, 10:45 a.m., and it's going to be me, first of all, ordering the food for the live Feasting with the King, which will take place later on in the marathon. Then we're going to run through roughly 5 games. I don't know what order they'll be. You guys will probably determine that, maybe via live polling and the like. And it's going to be a fun time. You know, all Game Pass stuff, all made available because I have an Xbox Series X. I'm very excited for this. I hope you guys are too. Good stuff. Advancement in certain games. Multiplayer in certain games. It should be a good time. Alright. Also, during that live event, when I get hungry, it will be Feasting with the King. A live show. About an hour long. Okay? It's good stuff. Then we will return back to normally scheduled streams on Sunday. And so on Sunday, yet again, it will be more Fallout New Vegas on the main gameplay stream. And Sunday night's going to be the return to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay? Then on Monday, what we're going to do, starting on Monday, we're going to start putting Game Pass games into the rotation. In fact, just listen to Monday's schedule. The main gameplay stream will be my first ever full stream of the medium. 3+ hours of gameplay advancing in the game on Monday's stream. Then Monday night, it will either be Halo the Master Chief Collection multiplayer or PUBG, depending on what you guys want. I might take a poll the day before. I might just listen to your feedback over the course of the weekend and see what you guys want on Monday night. Okay? And then so I'm off on Tuesday. Tuesdays, as I said, are my days off for now. And what we're going to do is alternate between Fallout and the medium on the main gameplay streams with Game Pass stuff at night. Now, FYI, sooner rather than later, we're going to be adding a new game to the mix in Hades. Now, I don't know if Hades is a game that I'm going to love and want to keep playing as a main game playthrough or not. It is under Game Pass. The game is a year old, by the way. And it's under Game Pass. And I'm going to be checking out Hades when it comes out. I believe it's on the 13th, so it's much later in the week. I think Friday or something like that. I'll give it a shot. If I like it, then maybe I'll add it to my main rotation. If not, then we could still stick with Fallout and the medium. But we'll see what happens when I check out Hades, okay? Maybe I will really like it. Everyone said that Hades is a much better example of what a roguelike game should be. Way better than, say, Returnal was. And so I'm definitely willing to try it, since people seem to be of this common opinion. So we'll see what happens, okay? I hope that sounds good. So, that's what's going to be. This week will be Game Pass stuff, a Game Pass marathon, the continuation of Fallout New Vegas, more Game Pass stuff in like Flight Simulator, the start of the medium playthrough, and the start of having games such as the Master Chief Collection and maybe PUBG as late night streams, and then maybe even adding in Hades to the mix next week. We'll see. So, good stuff this August, good variety. Keep in mind the second half of August is chock full of new releases, including 12 Minutes, the Ghost of Tsushima expansion, and Psychonauts 2. So we've got a really exciting second half of August coming up as well. If you think that this first half isn't good, I think it's good because of the Game Pass stuff. But hey, it's going to get even better once we get to the second half of the month. Okay? Good stuff, right? So, that's the plan. I hope that sounds good to everybody. I'm certainly, enjoying everything here, and I hope that you guys are too, and thank you for being patient, because I know the last couple of months, especially since I became a full-time streamer here on YouTube, I know that the last couple of months were rough and slow. There wasn't much going on. I was kind of stuck in doing these lengthy playthroughs of throwback games such as Mass Effect and stuff like that. Danganronpa was taking forever, and now finally everything is ending. We're getting into new content. Finally, it's paying off, right? Okay, now, I would like to direct your attention to the top of the stream, where you can see there is a members goal for the month of August. That goal is 275 concurrent members. We're currently at 235 and hovering around there. It goes up and down a little bit every day. I'm under the impression we can hit 275 members by the end of this month. Why? Because between the new Game Pass stuff coming up, the marathon's coming up, well, the marathon coming up on Saturday, as well as the new releases in the second half of the month, I think we will bring new eyes to the streams, and maybe people who have not been members would be convinced to become a member for the first time. You get many benefits for becoming a member, including a highlighted name in the chat, not having to abide by the slow-mo rules of the chat, which means you can only type every 10 seconds. If you're a member, you can type as much as you want. In addition to that, I definitely feel that you will like having a nice chat crown next to your name, and let's not forget the 19 and growing emotes that are being added to the channel every time we hit 25 new members. So many benefits to becoming a channel, and I hope that you guys will consider becoming a member if you have not. So many benefits, and it helps me out, obviously. It keeps the channel healthy and growing, and it helps support it, so thank you for that. All right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an independent content creator. That means I do not have any sponsorships. I do not have any partnerships. I am an independent. I just do my thing every day. I'm here to share my gameplay experiences with you, honestly, on a daily basis, and I'm also here to chill with you and have a good social interactive time every single time that I stream. I love gaming. I'm a lifelong gamer. I love sharing that hobby with you every single day. That's why I do what I do. It's completely a bonus that I get to do it for a living. And I'm incredibly grateful that for 13 freaking years, and growing. I have been doing this, and you guys allow me to do that through your crowdfunding efforts. It really is because of your crowdfunding, not because of ad revenue or anything like that, but it's because of crowdfunding directly on these streams that I am allowed to keep doing this for a living. I am so grateful that you guys support my streams every single day. I've already mentioned that you can become a channel member. That certainly helps. If you do a super chat or a super sticker, which are ways that you can support the channel through YouTube itself, that helps as well. Or if you tip me directly during the live stream, that also helps. Tipping, quite frankly, is the best way to contribute because that's a method that goes directly to me and I can use it immediately for anything that I need to do, like paying bills, etc., without any delay. All right. How can you tip me? Well, if you look at the description of the stream, there's a link, or you could type !tip into the stream chat. That'll bring up the link to do it as well. All right. I appreciate every contribution that comes in. That's why I make an honest effort to give a shout out to every single person who contributes. As long as you're not being toxic, you're not being insulting, you're not referencing stupid ass hater memes and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you a shout out and be grateful and say thank you for so much and answer any questions or whatever that may come up as a result of a contribution. Now, because tipping is so important, and because tipping right now is how I'm going to be paying my bills for the next couple of weeks until I get paid by YouTube around the 21st of the month, that means that I have rewards in place to say thanks for those who actually, are going to be contributing. All right. So, what are the reward tiers for tips? I'll tell you exactly what the reward tiers for tips are. You ready? $50, Gunner glasses. $100 raised, a vest of your choice. And today the vest selections are as follows. I'll tell you. It's going to be the beige, the red, the denim, and the camo. Why not the platinum or the gold? We wore both of those yesterday. So those are eliminated for today. But once we get another vest going, that means that those will be re-added to the rotation. Okay, we go for variety here. We don't want to see me wearing the same vest every single stream. All right, so the beige, the red, the denim, the camo. Those are the vests eligible for today's streams if we get $100 in tips. Then if we get the full $150 tips raised, all right, I'll put on the cowboy hat. Very nice. All right, so good stuff, my friends. And I appreciate all of your contributions. I really do. You guys, again, keep stuff going. And one thing that I will say up front, just for safety purposes, please, guys, be aware that there is a negative troll element on the internet. People who are pretty nasty and will basically try to hurt people just because they can. There's no real justification for what they do, nor is there any real reasoning behind it. All right, there's people on the internet who want to mess with people, and if they can get your personal information and they can, you know, harass you online or post up your personal information, they'll do it just because they can do it. So just to forewarn anyone, if you're a regular on my stream, if you're a regular on anyone else's stream anywhere, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, do your best to diversify your personal information from any information that you put on the internet. Try not to talk too much about your personal life and who you are or where you're from. Do not give out any personal details. Certainly do not use a name that's real, you know, close to your real name. And certainly do not use the same name in any kind of a chat that you were going to use on social media, say Twitter or Facebook or whatever. You want to have everything separated so that way if someone gets a bug up their butt about you, they can't find you on the internet and try to harass you elsewhere, okay? It's just a kind of a public service announcement that makes sense to do because sometimes, sadly, people's information does leak on the internet and then they get harassed by trolls, and it's just because they weren't careful enough to make sure that they didn't go that extra step to hide their personal info. You'd be surprised because you think, well, then who really is vulnerable to this? Certainly not me. I'm a nobody. No, everyone is. These people who do this, they don't do it because there's a reason behind it or because there's some kind of an end game. They do it literally because they can hurt someone or harass someone and get away with it. That's the only reason they do it. If they had consequences for their actions, they certainly wouldn't do it. But they've realized the internet is a place that's basically not really policed for this kind of stuff, and they will just harass people online because they can, not because there's a reason to do it, you see? So please be aware, please be aware that this is happening, and please be careful, all right? I wouldn't want anyone to be stalked and or harassed like I am on a daily basis. You know, I'm the content creator. I'm the guy who puts himself out there publicly. You know, I get the nastiest stuff happening to me. I wouldn't want any of that happening to any of my viewers, okay? Now, going along with that, all right, I'm just going to say something else up front. Do not, and I mean this, do not believe any bullshit that you hear conspiracy theory nonsense on the fucking internet. Seriously. Alright? Don't. It's all fucking bullshit. Because right now, already people are bombarding my stream chat with complete happy horse shit that's completely false. I've already gotten, oh, I heard that this guy did this, and this guy gave you this, and there's evidence of this and this. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Every piece of it is garbage. Every piece of it is a lie. Every piece of it. But they will, these people, because again, these people are online harassers. They're losers. They have no lives. So they will spin conspiracy after conspiracy and just say it's true with zero actual evidence. It's all circumstantial or shit that they literally fabricate. And then they claim that this stuff is real. They will talk shit about anyone on the internet that they want and magically fabricate evidence to somehow prove what they're saying is true. It's all bullshit. All right? If you believe any of their conspiracies, I really feel bad for you. That you would believe anything that these idiots would say or do. The best thing you could do, anything like that, you stay away. You stay away from the nonsense. Seriously. There's absolutely no reason for you to ever listen to the nonsense or believe to any of this conspiracy theory nonsense these idiots spout out on a daily basis for personal gain and or for drama purposes to create drama where it doesn't exist. All right? Seriously, just don't believe it. It's just that simple. Stay away from it. Right now, we already have these idiots who are sitting in the chat. Oh, by the way, all people who aren't regulars, newcomers. Oh, there's drama. Did you hear this? Did you hear this? Fuck off. No one cares about your fucking bullshit because you went to the fucking dumb fuck conspiracy site where a bunch of idiots sit there with toxic shit all day. The dregs of society, the biggest losers on the fucking planet. And you gotta come here and try to bring it to my streams. You could just fuck right off and get out permanently and don't come back. I mean it. I don't want to hear a word about anything, any conspiracies or any bullshit on my streams, and it ain't gonna fucking fly here at all. It's that simple. Okay? Fair enough? I don't play that game. Then you go fuck off. So, I certainly hope that you're all listening, because if I see it, you're out of here. And I mean it too. I don't want to hear any of the bullshit. None of it's true. It's all bullshit, all fabricated lies, and I'm not going to entertain that for a second. Okay? See, that's good. Cool Channel says, I don't understand. Good. If you don't understand, that actually means that you've been doing the right thing. You're not putting on a tinfoil hat and going to fucking weirdo conspiracy sites and wasting your time. You've done the right thing. The truth is, the reason that this stuff happens, that these conspiracies get drawn up, is because there's nothing dramatic going on my streams. If you haven't noticed, take a look at my streams. The last few weeks have been good. Chill streams, fun content, Gamepass stuff has been successful. Everyone's having a good time. Oh man, well we gotta try to fucking ruin that one. We gotta put the stick in the mud here. How can we ruin that? Oh, let's make shit up. Okay. No, I don't play that game. So fuck that shit. Okay. So, let us now get into a little bit of game news. There's really not that much going on in the realm of game news, besides the fact that there's a new final character released for Street Fighter V in the Season Pass, and it's laughably bad. It's a guy who looks like a generic fucking, Ken action figure from, fucking Barbie. And, you guys know my opinion on Street Fighter V. You know how bad I think the game is. I've given you a million justified reasons of why the gameplay is bad over the years. I certainly don't need to go into it again. But the fact that Capcom is saying this last character, whose name is Luke, is going to be, oh, this character is very important because this character will lead into future Street Fighter games. And then you look at the character, he's the most uninspired character you've ever seen. He looks like some generic fucking guy off the street, like some generic MMA fighter. His fighting style looks stupid. It's just like, oh my god, Capcom fucking sucks. Seriously, and I mean, I'm not just trying to shit on Capcom, but Capcom sucks ass when it comes to fighting games now. They've completely lost their way. They just don't have anything interesting going on in fighting games for the last, 5 years. Street Fighter V has been an embarrassment. The only people who like it are people who don't even play the older games to understand why Street Fighter was good to begin with. They have completely been suckered in by this dumbed down, watered down formula, game that any fucking baby can play after practicing bullshit patterns for 5 minutes. The character designs are mostly terrible. Half the characters in the fucking game look exactly the same, blonde-haired, blue-eyed idiots. They all look like fucking clones. The game sucks shit, man. But people seriously just won't accept it. They just gotta have this fucking crazy cult-like belief that the game is good so that Capcom will keep making fighting games. Like, maybe they shouldn't. You realize that when Capcom took the longest break from making fighting games, it was from the early 2000s, Capcom vs. SNK 2 and Capcom Fighting Jam were the last two that they put out. The next one they put out was Street Fighter 4. And guess what? It was good. That was a good, like, 6 to 7 year hiatus where they didn't make any fighting games. And Street Fighter 4 was fucking good. It was a renaissance of fighting games because they actually took their time to sit down and reimagine what people would want. And then Street Fighter 5 comes out, and it's literally the opposite. It's like the most garbage, dumbed-down game. The graphics look like a bunch of fucking Play-Doh that some 5-year-old slapped together and was only allowed to use 5 different colors of Play-Doh when they made the characters. The fucking gameplay sucks shit. Everything's a pattern. Everything's a flowing combo into another flowing combo. None of it plays like Street Fighter at all. It's a joke. Even after all their updates, the game is still a fucking joke. But people won't let go. They won't just take the fucking stupid brainwashed glasses off their faces and look at it and say, man, this game is nothing like it used to be. Why are we fucking praising it? And why are we still dumping money into it? People will spend money for this last douchebag character, Luke, and gladly drop money on this idiot who is a fucking joke. He's going to be a major character in Street Fighter moving forward. Oh, you mean like Alex was? Who's supposed to be the main character of Street Fighter 3 and you dumped him until he was a DLC character for Street Fighter 5 15 years later? Yeah, oh, I really believe you. I really fucking believe you, dude. No, really. I mean, everything you say is truthful, obviously. So anyway, Street Fighter 5, an embarrassment to me, being a longtime fan of Street Fighter. The fact that the community collectively just ignored all its flaws after the first couple times that the game was rebalanced and claimed that it was a good game when in reality this is one of the worst Street Fighters ever made. And now the last DLC character looks like one of the worst things I've ever seen in a fighting game. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, it looks good. Okay, whatever you say. The only other thing that's really going on is, if you guys didn't even know this, because I didn't even know this until I read an article about it this morning. You guys remember that studio, that game studio that made the game Gone Home, which essentially was the first walking simulator game? It came out in 2013. I played it, and I actually really liked it because it was the first game of that style that I'd ever played. Now, that game ended up inspiring, like, no lie, like 100 other games that were all considered walking simulators. All you do is walk around and explore for clues. Of course, some of those games have variations that turned into horror games, but basically first person walking around exploring kind of deal. So that company that made Gone Home went off and made another game called Tacoma. And are you aware that Tacoma was the same style of game? I actually liked Tacoma. A lot of people shout all over Tacoma. I thought it was alright. I did. I actually thought that Tacoma was decent. Certainly, I wasn't in love with the game or anything. But I think a lot of people gave Tacoma a lot of shit. I don't really know why. I actually enjoyed the game. But anyway, basically this studio has fallen apart at the seams, which I didn't know. Apparently the guy who's the head of the studio, kind of got full of himself after his 2-game success run. And basically, as they were making their new game, which I forgot the name of it now, but they're making a new game and it was supposed to come out this year. A lot of people who work at the studio, by the way, the studio is tiny. The studio started off with like 6 to 10 employees, then it expanded to like maybe 20. And now they're actually, they're kind of controlled by this Annapurna company, which makes other games as well. But Annapurna is kind of in charge of everything, I guess, because of financing. They finance their new game. So I guess when they were developing this latest game, essentially a lot of this other shit that's been going on in other studios even was present at this one. This guy apparently was incredibly controlling and demeaning to his employees, and was basically kind of dismissive of any efforts that they were working on, wouldn't give them credit for what they were doing. I guess a lot of females in the company who worked for him felt like they were basically mistreated, or at least weren't treated equivalently to the males, which is weird because if you look at the plots of both Gone Home and Tacoma, both games star females and in a prominent role, and marginalized females too. Like Gone Home, you know, the main character was a teenage lesbian girl who had basically had issues with her family because she came out to them and they weren't accepting that she was a lesbian. So the fact that this guy apparently is being demeaning to his female employees is kind of like, what? kind of feels a little weird. I don't know. So anyway, apparently this guy got into hot water with all of his employees. They kept basically trying to vocalize with him that, you listen, you're really not doing a good job leading us. We feel uncomfortable at work every day. One employee even got in his face about it and was like, listen, you got to understand something. Cancel culture is rampant right now. And if it gets out that people don't like what you're doing and how you're leading us, and a cancel culture story gets out on the internet, no one's going to buy our new game and we're all going to be out of a job. And apparently he sent this employee a link the next day in email stating basically that just because something is happening somewhere else, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen to you. And this is actually a phobia that happens among people. So basically he completely dismissed the concern of the employee and said, you're just having a phobia. Don't worry about it. So anyway, all this going on, and now apparently the guy has been forced to step back from his studio, and all he's doing is writing the story of the game, and that's it. Like, Annapurna got involved, and they're like, well, since we're financing this project, and literally all your employees have complained to say that you're terrible, we've decided that you're not going to work on the game anymore besides writing the plot. You're not allowed to interact with your employees anymore. How about that? How about being in charge of a studio for 10 years, and then your behavior gets so bad you're told by a company that bought you out, essentially, oh, you can't interact with your employees anymore because you're a horrible person. Wow. So anyway, I just read an article about that this morning, and I was just like, Jesus, man. Like, what is going on in the games industry? That this is like a rampant thing. Like, everywhere you go, it doesn't matter if you're big or small. It doesn't matter what kind of game you're working on. Even this studio was literally making games for marginalized audiences. Where you think they would be sensitive to this kind of thing? And the guy who's in charge of the studio is still doing this kind of stuff to his employees. It's like, jeez. I just don't understand it anymore. Like, what is going on in the games industry that this is rampant? Because what it seems to me is that, much like any other industry, the games industry has grown too big at too rapid a pace and wasn't ready for that level of growth. And because of that, there aren't things in place. There isn't real HR. You know what I mean? There's no real protections for employees anymore because they grew so big so quick that they didn't put anything in place for that to happen. And so now you get mistreatment of employees. You get all kinds of cultural issues, social issues, mismanagement at these companies that run them into the ground. It's like, geez, man. It's nasty for it to all be exposed publicly, but it's pretty obvious that things need to change in a big way in the industry as a whole. It's not just this one company, Ubisoft, or this one company, Activision Blizzard, or this one company that makes little walking simulator indie games. It's probably rampant, you know what I mean, among everything. It's probably across the board, and someone really needs to start taking this shit seriously. In fact, Rockstar Games came out this week and publicly stated they never have an issue with this, that they've been on top of this shit since day one, and they make sure that their company doesn't have these kinds of issues. They want to make sure that their employees are very happy, and that's why you never hear anything like this out of Rockstar Games. Now, you want to talk about shooting yourself in the foot, because if that's not setting them up for disaster, I don't know what is. Like, why are you asking for trouble? When the rest of your industry is having this kind of trouble, the last thing you would want is to turn the spotlight onto yourself for analyzation. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one wants to get that kind of attention. That's bad attention. So why they said this publicly, I have no idea. But they did. Now, maybe this is true, and that's a good thing. If everyone at Rockstar is happy, and their culture is healthy, then that's a good thing. And I hope that what we really need, I feel, at this point, since now we're getting scandal after scandal coming out, we need to have a couple companies that come out and say, we actually are the examples of how you should be doing this. And then other companies can follow said example. Because I think what it is, as I said, this industry is an emergent industry. A very short period of time, video games became the top entertainment medium. It was a very short, in relative to other entertainment mediums, what was it, 15 years? Where video games went from bottom tier all the way to the top and surpassed movies, music, television, and everything else. So we don't have the development time like other mediums have had to have these things. You don't have unions in place for most of these game development companies. You know what I mean? There's nothing there to stop these issues from happening. So maybe what we actually need is we need a few companies who are actually a good example of how to do things properly to show to the world this is how we do it, and then maybe these other companies can copy and paste. I don't want to. I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to hear about another company is falling apart at the seams internally and all the employees are unhappy and feeling abused. I want the opposite. I want to hear this company's great and here comes a great game out of them because all their employees are happy and here comes, the good results of that. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens, but I want more positivity. I want less of this toxic shit. I don't want to hear another story about another studio where everyone's been mistreated for the past decade and was brushed under the rug. I want to hear the opposite. I want to hear, man, the studio does it right, and here's a great game they're pumping out as a result, and let's all be happy about it, right? Don't you when you buy a game, don't you want to feel good about your purchase? Don't you want to feel like, man, that's a studio that deserves my hard-earned dollars because the game is great and the studio has a great culture and everyone there is happy, versus, well, I bought a game that I'm enjoying, but man, it sucks that everyone at that studio was mistreated for the past 10 years for this game to come out, right? You're like, geez, talk about a dichotomy. Samson DeWeiler, no, I do not enjoy laughing at companies failing at all. Here's the thing. This is the thing, is that people like to revel in misery. I don't. I would rather have everyone be good and happy. Because here's the thing. When a company is not reveling in misery, they put out good games. For example, I would much rather have Capcom right now be putting out great games than bad games. I would much rather be saying how much I love Street Fighter V as a great game and I can't wait for the next DLC character and it's a shame that it's going to end soon, than saying, wow, this game has sucked for 5 years. I would much rather do that. I'm a much more positive person these days than I ever used to be. I don't want to revel in people's failure. You want to know the kind of people that do that? Miserable fucking people who don't like their own lives, and so they have to revel in the misery of others because they're sad that their life isn't great, so they want to bring others down with them, so at least they feel like, well, other people are miserable just like me. Those are the kind of people who revel in misery. I'm not one of them. I want good news out of the industry, not bad news. That's how I am, man. I did not revel in CD Projekt Red. That's false, too. I told you guys repeatedly I wanted Cyberpunk to be good. I told you guys how many times I would love for Cyberpunk to be an amazing game, but I was skeptical about it from all the news that I was hearing about the game leading up to the release, and then the release ended up being exactly what I was afraid of. Right? Alright, anyway, I think we should get to shout-outs. It looks like we have no YouTube contributions as of yet, no memberships or super chats. That's perfectly fine. So we can get to tips. Alright, well, let's start with Man in the Pickle Suit, who tipped me $1.30, first tip of the day, and he says the following. Hold on, let me just add that to the total before I forget, because I've had a bad habit recently of forgetting to add tips to the total right away, and then I forget about it entirely. He says, Mario Golf is getting a free update tomorrow. Nudong City course is being added. Toadette is being added as a character, and ranked matches are now being added, which means there's no more unfair advantages in multiplayer. Will you give it another go? No, I will not give... Why is it completely uncentered? Whatever. No, I will not give it another go. You want to know why? Because all those features should have been in the main game when it was released 2 months ago. It's too little too late for them. That game should have been complete at release, and it obviously wasn't. The fact that there was no multiplayer mode where people didn't have an unfair advantage was absolutely fucking ludicrous. And I've played it. I've seen all the courses. I've been there, done that. And I'm not going back to it. It's stupid because that content absolutely should have been in the game at launch. And it's obvious the game was released without all the content in it. And now they're trying to rush it and put it back. Oh, well, everyone said the game sucked at launch, but here's the content that would have made it good. No, sorry. I don't care. So, I'm not playing it. Rob Matthews sent me $4.20. Biggest tip of the day so far. He says, sorry if I pissed you off a little yesterday. I'm just a huge Zelda fan. I'm excited for the next few weeks regardless. Listen, Rob, first of all, I appreciate you being a regular to the streams. I appreciate the fact that you support the streams as much as you do. And I respect the fact that you have an opinion. You have the right to have an opinion and voice it in a fair manner, and you did. You absolutely did not go outside of the bounds of what would be, an acceptable way to voice your opinion. You were upset that I stopped playing Zelda. You voiced that opinion in a reasonable manner, and I absolutely respect that. And I thank you for that feedback. It's like I say, you can please all of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but you cannot please all of the people all of the time. And I had to look at what was going on my streams and my community in the chat and everything and take in feedback. And overwhelmingly, the feedback that I was getting is that people wanted to see me do other stuff than Zelda because Zelda's a game I already played 10 years ago, while there was a plethora of games that I had never played on Game Pass and or updated versions. For example, PUBG, Halo Master Chief Collection. The Halo Master Chief Collection makes perfect sense because I'm preparing for Halo Infinite. I haven't played Halo in so long. PUBG never ran well on Xbox One, and now it's actually playable on Xbox Series X at a frame rate and a response time that makes sense, you see? So, I totally get where people were coming from, saying, oh my god, you're actually going to replay a game that's 10 years old when you just replayed Mass Effect 1 and 3, right? You already just recently did a bunch of old remasters. You're doing another one instead of playing new stuff. I get that. I totally get that. You know, this has been a very slow few months for new releases. The biggest new release this year has been Resident Evil Village, and that's really been it. If you actually look at all the releases that 2021 has had, that's the one big one. There really hasn't been anything else of note. So I totally understand why people are like, just do something new, man. Stop with the old crap. Do something refreshing. But at the very same time, I totally understand why people who were enjoying the Zelda playthrough are a bit miffed that I stopped playing it, right? I see both sides of the fence. And by the way, Rob, I'm in your boat where I was liking Zelda. Like, I played it. What was it? We're starting the 4th dungeon. I think the game has 9 dungeons. I could be wrong. Maybe it only has 6, but we're starting the 4th dungeon. And I was like, man, I'm actually liking this because the controls are actually working. This is way less of a chore than it was the first time around. The other thing is, I now have been playing games now for 13 straight years. As opposed to when I played Zelda Skyward Sword the first time, that was the first time I'd played a Zelda game since Link to the Past, okay? You're talking a ridiculously long time since I had played a game of that style, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I was flubbing my way through it trying to figure it out because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I hadn't played that genre in so long. So now you're talking someone who's now been playing the games for 13 straight years doing it, and I'm figuring out the puzzles easily, and you know what I mean? It was definitely a different experience playing it this time around. And I think people who like Zelda and who like the old school stuff that I used to put out were very much enjoying the new updated version of the playthrough. But you know what? I mean, I hate to say it, it's timing. And I just feel like it's bad timing because we were already at a time frame when there was so much nothing else going on. And then I just happened to get to Xbox Series X. And I think that's what kind of really pushed people in the direction of saying, you got to do something different. You can't just be playing these old games over and over when you have a console sitting there with a ton of games you never played on it. And I understand that. So, listen. I get it. I understand your disappointment. I'm in the same boat with you where I was enjoying myself. But sometimes I got to do what the audience wants. At the very same time, I'm very much enjoying playing the stuff on Game Pass. Like, I am. Like, I'm having a blast right now playing a variety of stuff and having new games in the rotation that I never... I mean, Flight Simulator, really cool to be checking out these landmarks with everyone and to go into a variety of places on the planet. And now we're going to start Medium, which seems like a really awesome game. So, you see what I'm saying? I am enjoying myself so much with Game Pass that I kind of think it was the right decision, all right? Not saying I will never go back to Skyward Sword or whatever, but yeah, I think it makes more sense, okay? Well, Snow Carl, thank you for the $1.30 tip. We already talked about this, so I don't even need to address it again. We already addressed it directly, but thank you for the tip. Jad F to me, $1.30 says you should combine Game Pass multiplayer games to remove staleness on the stream. For example, the first 2 hours before break, play PUBG, after break Halo, or 2 hours of Forza Horizon 4 and 5 online before break, and 1 hour of Wreckfest after. So what you're saying is do a variety style stream where we split up the stream into halves, and I play one thing for the first half and another thing for the second half. That's an interesting premise. That's definitely an interesting premise. Right now, being that I'm about to start up with the Medium, I'm not going to be able to do that, but that's an interesting premise for the future. Maybe I can implement multiplayer games in like that. Thank you for the suggestion. Jadef also tipped another $1.30. Says this way you can do thematic streams, shooters and racers of combined variety, so no one gets bored. All right, good suggestions. I always appreciate these suggestions. I'll have to think about how I can implement that for the future. Carlton Jr. tipped me $1.30. Says I feel like Capcom's just stalling this season. Street Fighter 6 isn't ready to be shown yet. Since Ono stepped down. Meanwhile, Arc System Works is juggling between like 3 games between Strive, Dragon Ball Fighters, and Grand Blue, and doing DLC for all of them. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. It seems like every other company is doing better than Capcom fighting game-wise, right? Like, seriously, I mean it. Like, you know, Midway / NetherRealm. I call them Midway still because that's what they were when I was growing up, but I know they're NetherRealm now. they have not only Mortal Kombat series, but Injustice, and they've been alternating between the two. And apparently now the rumor is there's another game they're going to be coming out with soon. They're incredibly popular and doing really well. Arc Systems working on 3 successful franchises, right? And you look at Capcom, it's like Capcom has one game. And literally one game. They're not putting out anything else. There was a time when Capcom, in the 1990s when Capcom was popular, they had the Versus series, they had the Alpha series, they had the numbered Street Fighter series like 2 and 3, and then they had like CVS. So they had like 4 major game series all going at once, and they were all popular. Then Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom, Tekken Cross Street Fighter, even though we know that, or excuse me, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, even though we know it wasn't successful, still, the point remains that you had multiple franchises going on. And now they have just the one. It seems to me like because the launch of Street Fighter V was such an utter failure, that the bigwigs at Capcom basically told everyone responsible for Street Fighter, you guys fucked it up, so now you were completely stripped of resources, do the best you can with minimum resources, it's your own fault, and, you know, maybe if Street Fighter V ends up being a long-term success, we'll put more effort into fighting games later, but for now, you guys are screwed. That seems like what happened to me. You know, and sadly, I think Street Fighter V, you know, has been the only thing they've been able to put out. And yeah, it's kind of sad when you know Capcom used to always be the #1 fighting game company, and now they're like number 4. You know? Even Smash Brothers is bigger than Street Fighter, man. And that, you know, Smash Brothers is way bigger than Street Fighter. Are you kidding me? When a Smash Brothers character gets announced, you have hundreds of thousands of people freaking out on the internet for it. It's just, I don't know what to say. It's just not, it's not what it used to be, man. Okay. Snow Carl tipped me $1 and says, time for positivity. I think your new chair is a great choice. I think the kind of gaming chair is amazing for your needs. It'll help your long-term health and help you game for longer as well as better. Have you noticed anything bad or good about it? Well, positives of the chair. Number 1, lumbar support and back support are outstanding. I have never had a chair in my life that actually had me sitting the proper posture. I mean that. Like, all my other chairs didn't have this kind of proper support. So now I'm sitting upright like I'm supposed to, and I have the support to keep me upright how I'm supposed to for extended sessions. So hopefully my back feels good because of this. I like the footrest. Right now I'm actually using the footrest. I like the footrest because it allows me to either sit with my feet on the floor or elevated, especially if I'm at a gaming session where I'm starting to feel like there's not enough oxygen in my blood or whatever. You can stretch the legs and stuff. I like that a lot. And the softness and firmness of it. It's soft fabric, but firm memory foam. So I'm sitting in it, it's giving me real comfort and support. Unlike the other chairs that would sink in and then my butt would hurt and stuff. This is not this chair is just night and day from those, all right? But there are some drawbacks, admittedly. As you guys know, not everything's perfect. I always am honest with you guys, positive and negative. The negatives of the chair are, number 1, there's no height adjustment. It literally is the height it is forever. It doesn't go up and down like an office chair would. And I think they did it on purpose because they wanted it to be stable. And the thing is, that crappy gaming chair that I got for 3 years ago, the first thing that broke on it was the height adjustment. And now I sit in it and it sinks. I have to pump it up again. It sinks again while I'm sitting on it. It's a piece of shit. So in reality, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. This does not have height adjustment because it can't break. But you know, it doesn't have height adjustment. So that's definitely one shortcoming. The other is the cup rests are not deep enough. These cup holders are like only, I'd argue, about maybe 2 inches deep. You need it 3 or more in order to comfortably hold a cup and or any kind of drink. The thing is, my seltzer water bottles are chubby, and I can stick it in there, and because they're chubby, they're in there firmly and don't move. So those work, but the thermos is not wide enough to fit firmly in there, and it moves around, and I can tell you right now, it's not secure in there. So I wouldn't even want to put my thermos in the cup holder. And I feel that that's a big detriment, honestly. Like, these cup holders are kind of useless unless I'm going to be drinking seltzer water. I can't really use them for much else. But there's just tons of positives compared to the very few kind of nitpicky negatives. You know, I don't need a height adjustment on the chair because the height is correct. The height on the chair is correct for me. You know, I'm 5'11", and this chair is the exact, you know, height from the ground I need. My feet go exactly to the floor, me sitting in the chair. If you're a little shorter than me, probably the chair may be a little bit too high off the ground, and if you're taller than me, probably it's not big enough. But it's perfect for me. I don't know how it worked out, but it just did. So, thank you for the tip. Alfred Aponte is here and tipped me $4.20. Thank you very much, Alfred. Let's get that added to the running total. And he says the following. I hope you're good. In my opinion, I know Flying Simulator, I guess he's saying Microsoft Flight Simulator, is new. I do not see that game staying in your rotation. It's not that popular for the viewers, but it's chill, so please take note. Well, here's what I think. I think that game's going to have an audience. It's not going to be my mainstream audience, but it's going to be people who just like to have more relaxing time and or those who are interested in geography and world travel, which I am. You know, like last night, we started off at Yellowstone National Park, and I didn't know where to go because the game didn't have enough landmarks labeled, and that was a waste of a half an hour. But then we went to Paris, and that was fun as hell. We got to see the Arc de Triomphe. We got to see the Eiffel Tower. We got to see the Louvre. And we got to see it both night and day, and they look completely different, which is really sweet. Then we went to places like Cairo, Egypt. And then we went to friggin' Hawaii, and we had a lot of fun doing that. So I think that it'll definitely be for some people, not for everyone. Some people will really like it, and I like that we can have that kind of variety on the streams for sure. Certainly, no, it's not the same as some of my other playthroughs. That's absolutely true. It's not going to have mainstream appeal like a lot of the other games that I'm playing, but I think it's going to definitely have people who are going to want to see it in the rotation from time to time. And by the way, it's not something I'm going to be doing 2-3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's a once a week kind of a deal, you know? Chocoboco has tipped me $5, which is now the actual top tip of the day. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. Excuse me. And that jumps up to $19 here. Oh, crap. Okay. Chocoboco says, many would say the Series X is what killed the Skyward playthrough, but it was Momo Mole Man. All kidding aside, I can't wait for today's stream. No, I'll be honest. That Skyward Sword playthrough, alright, probably would have continued if I didn't get the Series X. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it would have continued if I didn't get the Series X. But when you get an opportunity to do something, that is, number one, just plain good timing. Right now, we're in the midst of a dead summer, and the fact that the Series X allows me to play a variety of stuff I didn't play before in the midst of basically nothing else going on, that's really good timing that I got it when I did, right? And I will agree with people that are saying, man, you just keep replaying old games. You're right. Look at this year. This year has been remaster after remaster after remaster. It's like game companies didn't really put out anything new this year. So you play what's out there, you know what I'm saying? And I agree that it's kind of disappointing when it's, wow, I've already seen Phil play this. I don't really care because this is an older game. Why do we keep seeing the same shit over and over? I hear you. 100%. I understand, and I have to agree. This year has been a slow year, and so when I'm getting opportunity to do something new and different, you obviously want to see what's new and different over me just replaying a game I've already played, right? I get it. So, admittedly, yeah, the timing of the Series X absolutely kind of trumped the Skyward Sword HD playthrough. It absolutely did. I will agree there. Thank you, Chocoboco. I have now received a $10 anonymous tip. Thank you very much to the anonymous $10 tipper. That is now the biggest tip of the day. Thank you very much. By the way, one other quick thing I will say, because it came up on a stream earlier this week. I'll just clarify the air a little bit here, because last year and this year, obviously the way I'm operating things is a little different. All right. By the way, I have YouTube shout-outs to do too, but let me just say something quickly. Later. Let's try this again. In the fall and winter of this past year, it was a major concern of mine that people were doing these tips on PayPal, and they were basically doing fraudulent tips from unverified accounts. They were charging them back. It was really badly hurting my streams and my business behind the scenes. There were days when I was bringing in hundreds of dollars in tips and then getting more than that in chargebacks on a daily basis, and it was actually like killing me. In the fall too, like this is when all the major games were releasing, and I was dumping a ton of money on games, and it was like, man, I really need the income, and then it was being taken away from me. So there was an extended period of time where I was talking about verified tips and this and that and all of that. I just want you guys to understand none of that has changed. If you are going to tip me, I do ask that you verify your PayPal account. I am still actively checking things like that behind the scenes. I'm doing all of that stuff still. Nothing's changed. What's changed is as follows. I'm not mentioning it publicly as much because it was derailing to the streams. People were literally making memes out of it that we were, instead of having a good time talking and playing games, it was all about verifying tips and income and shit. And I didn't want my streams to be completely degraded into that. At the very same time, even though, yes, I'm still getting all that. Listen, it hasn't gone away. That for anyone who's a full-time streamer, this is always an ongoing concern. It is, okay? There's always people who are going to be malicious. They're going to try to break the law. They're going to try to screw you over. It's an ongoing rampant thing, okay? But essentially, I've got it under control to the point where it's not, oh my God, it's destroying me from behind the scenes anymore. It's still happening. There's still chargebacks, but it's not, oh my God, it's a panic now, and I've got to really make sure that everything is set because there's so many going on that it's ruining me. It's not that bad anymore, you see? It's still happening. And that's the other thing, too. People see, oh, Phil made so much in tips today. You got to understand there's always chargebacks. There's always fees. There's always issues. What you see on the front end of the stream is not actually what's happening behind the scenes. It's just not, okay? You will never know how much I'm actually making on a stream because of all of those kind of factors, okay? But that's why I'm basically not bringing it up constantly anymore because I feel it derails my streams. It takes away from the positivity of them. And you guys don't necessarily need to always know about negative stuff going on behind the scenes unless it becomes another huge panic mode thing again. I don't foresee it being an issue, okay? I put security measures in place with my PayPal account to make sure that I wouldn't get a ridiculous amount of fraudulent tips anymore, and those protections have worked. The people who are essentially coming to streams every day giving me fake tips have been stopped from doing so. And because of that, we don't have that issue anymore. You notice there's not a number of giant fake tips coming in saying insulting things and shit anymore, right? Because I put a stop to it. So that's why. All right? So, I know, because people ask from time to time, wow, things change. I wonder why. That's why. Not that things are 100%, solved. It will never be. There's no way to 100% ensure that someone's not messing with you when you're a full-time streamer. Okay? But it's not a rampant issue anymore. I don't need to bring it up constantly. All right? Alice Telemann has tipped me $1.30 and says, very happy to see the silent majority helping you out behind the scenes with all these gifts like a laptop, Xbox, and the chair. You will make it. Yeah. And again, it's funny because, again, and I will say this, the conspiracy theorist morons are so stupid simpletons. They will do anything they can to try to create a conspiracy theory around shit. Like, they're still saying, just listen to this. They're still saying that Only Iced Coffee is literally like my #1 donor, and everything I get is from him. All the tips that come in are him. All these, he gave me the Xbox Series X, he gave me the chair, he gave me the laptop. All completely false. All 100% wrong. But this is how they are. They're nut jobs. It's not. It's actually exactly as Atlas Telemann says. It's the silent majority. It's people who've watched my content. They enjoy it. They don't speak up. They don't get involved in the drama, but then they see, oh, wow, it would be great if Phil had an Xbox Series X right now because look at this boring summer. And then I get it, and look how it's changed the face of what I'm doing on my streams, right? Wow, Phil every day is having problems with his stupid laptop. It's having, he's crashing, and now he has to sit here for 10, 15 minutes, refresh. And now I get the new laptop, there's 0 issues. 0. And we're just smooth sailing all day long, right? This is what I mean. But complete morons will say specific things because they're that stupid. And you don't have to listen to any of that baloney. Atlas Telemann hit it right on the head. It's people who've been around for a while. They like my content. They want to see me succeed. That's who's helping me out, and I really appreciate that. I really do. Okay. YouTube shout-outs. Fergo did a super chat and says, I'm going to need to see Oblivion in the near future. Oblivion is not happening in the near future. We're about to head into the busiest gaming time of the year. The second half of August, it begins, and then we've got September, October, November, December, where essentially you're going to see a ridiculous amount of new games coming out. Once we get through that all right, then perhaps we can consider trying to do some kind of a lengthy RPG playthrough, but it ain't happening anytime soon. But by the way, I am considering Oblivion at some point. Furry Carl did a super chat, says, can Top Tipper order a food item on the marathon? No. We're going to do it together like I already explained. Double A did a super chat, says, shut up and play the game! And yes, he actually typed that all out. Level Minded did a super chat and says, Phil and his wife are the nicest people that I met in real life. Well, there you go. I actually have no idea if Level Minded ever met us in real life or not. Very well might have. Or might be full of baloney. But thank you for the super chat. Either way, Level Minded. I appreciate that. Oh, wait. I forgot to read the whole message. His message said, Phil and his wife are the nicest people that I met in real life. Okay. There you go. Yes. Very nice. Am I playing Back for Blood tonight? That's an interesting question Justin Marble has asked. Am I playing Back for Blood later tonight? No. Why am I not playing it later tonight? Because there is no open beta. The beta that's going on tonight is for people who pre-ordered the game, or if you sit on the developer's stream today, they're going to be giving out some keys. Those are the only people who can get into the beta right now. The actual open beta is next week. So next week, I will check it out on Thursday. But it's not open beta right now, so I can't play it. I didn't pre-order the game or anything. Why would I pre-order it when I'm going to get it under Game Pass? Right? That would be pretty stupid. So, I'm going to be playing it next week when it's open to everybody. Okay? Alright. Good. Good. And by the way, we need to fucking finish Mass Effect. Come on, man. Do you not want Mass Effect to end? Is that what it is? Do you want to keep delaying the end of Mass Effect? Is that what it is? You guys want me to be playing Mass Effect for another 3 years? Because I think there's like 2 more side missions we could go do. If you want me to go do those, we could do those tonight instead and not finish the game. So is that what you want? All right. Tonight, we will not be finishing Mass Effect. We'll be doing repetitive side content instead to extend the length of the playthrough. Because you guys obviously don't want to see Mass Effect finish. You want me to do everything else possible. Okay? So extending the playthrough starting tonight. Yes. Yes. No. We're not doing that. Carlception to me $1.30 says, shout out to all my Carlitos in Carland. Invasion of the Carls. The Carl invasion has begun. It's very scary, by the way. You don't want to see more than one Carl coming your way, let me tell you. Okay. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. Unless anyone else has a last minute thing they want to talk about, we're going to take a brief break. It's not going to be a long break, by the way. It's only going to be like 5 minutes. I'm going to, probably take a leak and then come back and we're going to jump into Game Pass. What I think we will do, let's see what's on my Xbox Series X for now, but I think we should actually go back into the Game Pass availability menu again and see what's there because, like, for example, someone recommended Wreckfest. I think I actually want to try Wreckfest today. That sounds like something unique that maybe would be entertaining, especially even if I just play it for the marathon on Saturday. I still think it might be something fun. So, like, I think I want to go back into the main menu and check that out. All right, and go from there, see what's there, and have a fun, chill stream today, man. Okay? Fraga 15K wants a shout out. Shout out to the Fragas out there. All the real Fragas. Maybe even some of the fake Fragas, but the real Fragas definitely deserve the attention. Thank you for your support. Okay. All right. Let's take a break. I'll be back in just a few short minutes here, guys, and we'll get started. Fair enough? All right, I'll be back. Thanks.